Dun, dun, dun. We are live. Hello, and welcome to Time of the Week,
where we always talk watches
and occasionally drink wine.
Or a water.
I have wine today.
Oh my God.
What time
I was going to make a
where
joke
you
about
are?
Jesus, but Sam is drinking wine.
Yes, it's my day off. I've been working a lot lately. I deserve it. Let's do it.
I'm like a proud mum.
Oh dear.
I know. I bring a tear to your eye, don't I?
I really do. I'm like, my child is growing on her own now. She's drinking a wine at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Why not?
I'd say airport rules. Airport rules. It's fine to have a drink at 4 o'clock in the morning, because airport rules. This is time of the week rules.
Yes, that's true. Same thing applies.
I like that logic. I like it. Day drinking, like as you get older, I find day drinking much better than nighttime drinking.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know what it is, where I just don't want to go out late at night and go fight with people to get a drink, because that's obviously when everyone wants to go out and drink, and it's just a hassle to get in, or it takes forever to get a drink. So it's like, let's just go at like 4 or noon. And
have you started complaining about the noise yet? Then you really know you're getting old.
That's when you know you're getting older.
Honestly.
I can't hear you talk. Oh, can we go somewhere quieter? Oh my God, I'm old.
Yep.
No. Yep. Day drinking is like the best thing, because you go out at like 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. You've had a good time. You get home probably 7-ish.
And you're good.
Enjoyed your friends. You get to have dinner. You can drink water, sober up a little bit, get an early night, and feel completely refreshed and functional the next day. That is how I know I'm getting old.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be functional the next day, though. You can't be that old yet. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not entirely functional, but a lot more than if I had got in at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone watching. There is a lot of Marks in the chat.
Oh,
Mark's watches. Mark Wheeler, Mark H, and Julian. Hello, Julian.
Hello, everyone.
You have to change your name to Mark. Speaking of, we are a Sam down, as people may or may not have noticed so far. Those listening in, there's a voice missing. Our wonderful UK Sam is at the Red Bar Southeast event. So she is unfortunately detained. I'm sure she's having a great time, although I do believe she is incredibly hungover.
Yes.
So she's either going to get back on it and be a trooper, or she's going to just power through in a bad state.
And she looks amazing. Did you see her outfit last night?
No, cheeky bugger didn't send it me.
It was like a sparkly little like frilly thing. Oh, it was adorable.
She did say she was wearing sequins.
I loved it. She looked so cute.
Special
and
occasion.
She was like shimmying just to like make it like sparkle, and I was like, "You go, Sam. You're so good."
Yeah, that's what you do when you've got a fancy outfit on.
You have to. You have to show it off.
Shimmy, shake, shimmy. But in her place, we have the fantastic Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
How have you been?
Good. Extremely busy. And I feel like I haven't been used to that for a while. So, yeah. That sounds really terrible, but yeah, it's all
I haven't had to work this hard in a while.
I know. It's like I'm actually working to be paid money. But it's good to be. Obviously, it's good to be busy. That's a great sign. So yeah, we're working on 2 auctions, and there are deadlines and watches and everything. Ooh. So yes, all good.
I'm very excited to get stuck in. But first off, we are almost 5 minutes in. What are you wearing on your wrist?
I am wearing this West End watch company, and my good friends gave me it. Victoria and Ben owns like a wee antique shop in Paisley, and I can never do this properly, but wait, there we go.
There you go.
Oh, wow, I'm really showing myself to be quite an idiot. But anyway, it's like a really small like vintage
That's
piece,
gorgeous.
but it's just so simple, and actually the dial is all kind of fascinated really evenly, and it's really, really cute. So yes, West End Watch Company.
West End Watch Company.
Yeah, I'm just double checking that is it. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll pop them on the Instagram page for you guys, so you can find it there and head over and check them out. That's really cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Although we did have to remind you, as we had to do to ourselves before a show, like 2 minutes in.
Got a watch on.
Yep.
Has everyone got a watch on? Shit. No. Yeah, right. Sam,
I am wearing.
what are you wearing?
I'm wearing my lovely Grand Seiko GMT. It's on a beads of rice bracelet today. Some Grand Seikos do come on a beads of rice bracelet. This was a different model that my boyfriend had, and we just switched out the bracelet because this model usually comes with just like an oyster bracelet, kind of like yours, Lucy.
Like
that bracelet. So change it out because it's the same length, so it looks cool. Okay.
Do you change your own bracelets now?
Yeah, I always have. But since working in a watch store and you kind of have to, I kind of get over like my fear of ever scratching them. I'm just like, I got it. Like, just kind of practice. Like that's literally what my coworkers that I work with, that they're just like, you have to just do it because that's the only way you can learn. So
just get over your fear. Yeah.
Just gotta deal with it.
I still make Matt change mine.
Sometimes it's just easier just to throw, be like, hey, I was thinking, this would look nice, don't you think? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll change it. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
Basically what happens.
Yeah.
Like straps I can do, like bracelets I just don't really trust myself because I'm such a clumsy person.
Mm-hmm.
I will learn one day. I've seen it done multiple times, you know, but physically doing it myself, I'm just so scared of scratching it up.
I know, and especially you just gotta have like the right size tool because that's what like gets you. Because if you don't, that's when you get the scratch, and you get really sad.
Yeah. I think I'm just starting to get a couple of scratches on my Grand Seiko now, and it makes me sad.
It's just character.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think that means you can start to relax though. Like
it's usually like that first big one.
Yeah, but after, that's fine. Now you can totally relax and really love it and not be so precious. It's a good thing.
It's the only one I'm like that with. If you take a look at my my OP, it's loved. It is loved.
Well loved.
Yes. Aged.
It's 3 years old, and it's definitely got more than 3 years old. Love.
Love on it.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some more people in the chat. Hi, Caitlin. Hi. Disney Ninja. Travis Kanata. Good name. Caitlin said that, the idea of scratches on a Grand Seiko stresses me out. Same. Yeah. But it's true. It does need love. Wear them properly. That's what I normally say about everything else.
What are you wearing?
I'm not wearing my Grand Seiko today.
That's new. What are you wearing?
So I'm not often not wearing it. I've been wearing it pretty much for the last month straight.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
I did miss it today again, but it's not the honeymoon period is over, but I'm learning to just keep it in the watch box and wear something else.
Mm-hmm.
So today I am wearing, it's a new watch alert for me. And if anyone has caught the Scottish Watches podcast from Monday, I think Wednesday, from Monday, Dave and Ricky absolutely slammed this watch.
I did.
I don't care because I really love it. And it is the Timex Pacman.
I think it's so cute.
Really cute and really cool.
Who doesn't love Pacman? Come on. You judge it on its own merits and don't compare it to all the other Pacman watches.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm very happy with it. Although we don't know what I've pressed. Every hour it's been beeping. So I'm there at work for the first few hours because obviously when I'm getting ready in the mornings, I don't really notice it because I'm too busy. I'm sat there at my desk typing away and it'll just beep and I'm like, it's 2:00. It's 3:00.
That's funny.
So me and my colleagues are now just like, oh, only 3 more beeps till home time.
Nice.
I might have to put it right in my box with my Swatch watch though. Because obviously that's the loudest thing in the entire world.
Yes.
So just while I'm trying to sleep, just put them away somewhere.
My Scottish watches Swatch watch lives downstairs on its own.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about them. And then I was sitting one day going, what is that? So,
I know. Yeah. I had a little Swatch before I ever got the Scottish Watches one. But it was smaller, so it didn't make as much noise. And so maybe that's why. But I still noticed it. I was like, oh, these are a little loud. But then when I got the Scottish Watches one, I was like, wow, this is like a ticking bomb. This is awful.
Oh my God. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's the Scottish Watches Swatch.
Yes. Really
I'm just really distracted by this comment, and is it a quote? But I can just really hear a Scottish accent. Travis Kanata is I cannot afford to buy that. I don't know if that.
Oh wait, there you go.
What is that from? Is it a quote? But I can just hear.
I cannot afford to buy that.
I cannot afford. That might just be me though, but
no. Scottish accent, got to be done.
Yeah.
He's never going to read his own name again the same.
Yeah.
No.
Like that. Oh, Julian said, can you play Pacman on it, Lucy? Maybe? How do I do it?
If it's beeping at you and you don't know how to stop it, I'm going to guess that maybe you won't be able to play Pacman on it yet. Oh.
Oh my God, I can.
It doesn't make that noise every hour at your office, does it?
No. It's just a beep.
That's okay. Just think you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
I might do it while we're on a work call. They've got on Zoom, and everyone would be like, "What is that?" I'm like, "No idea." So weird. Really weird. So that is my watch, and I'm really happy with it.
Ricky and Dave, stop roasting it. It's really cool.
I know we weren't making like Ricky's chat saying we weren't roasting your name. It just sounded like a great quote. So
yeah,
it's a cool name. I just heard that. Oh, sadly you're American. That's not a sad thing.
My last name was getting roasted. Kanata. Oh, don't even get me started on second names.
You've got a cool surname.
Mine can barely fit on any form I fill out. Actually, no, I think Sam's is longer.
Yeah, mine is longer.
Your surname. Mine's more complicated. Yours is longer.
Just longer.
I think. Yeah. I'm like, Sam, what's your email address? I'm like, oh. Jesus, you need to get married.
Yeah, just change it to anything else.
But you could hyphenate it then.
Oh yeah,
make it even better.
Longer.
Yeah.
I do love my last name, but it was always a struggle growing up, filling out forms and going through school. and doing testing, my last name never fit on any test. It just cut off, like the last 3 letters cut off. So it was interesting, but I love it.
First world problems. Yeah, I hated mine when I was growing up, and now I love it.
Yeah.
You know, men usually time to loom, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably giggling to himself downstairs. Men usually compete on a different sort of length.
Oh dear.
That is meant for you. It's not true. It's not false. Yeah.
It's at that point they realise no one actually knows correct measurements. What size is that watch? That's a 30. That's a 30, right? That's quite small. That's a no.
So small.
They're not over measuring. That's definitely an 80. That's 80 mil. Does that look like 80 mil?
That's a Panerai. 80 mil. That's probably might be quite accurate actually, that one. So today we're going to attempt to look at the chat a bit more. Sorry guys, you've been neglected apparently. Had feedback. You've been neglected. So we're going to try and keep up with you, but I thought, as always, Hidinki has stolen another one of our ideas. So whoever's tapped our phones or is the mole in this entire operation, back off or stop paying us Hidinki salaries. That would be great.
That'd be great.
Really?
Or just own up to it. Be like, hey, the girls at Time of the Week covered this, and we wanted to show our, our opinions about it too. We'd be like, this is awesome.
Just a little line at the bottom of their article to say, like, thanks Time of the Week for the inspo.
Right. I mean,
They
it's
did
nice,
do it
it's nice
first
getting
this time,
credit.
though.
Well, this is it. Like, we agree on like a theme the week, maybe sometimes 2 weeks before, like just between us before we actually do the show, and then a couple of days before, Hidinki will bring something out, and then it looks like we're copying them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have messages to prove that this was not true. It was us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what was the recent one? Was it the Olympics one?
Yes.
Yeah. So we did the Olympics one, and then like a few days later, they did the article of Olympic watches.
There was like 2 or 3 before that as well.
Yeah, I think the Olympics
obviously
one maybe was an obvious one, but the other ones,
Like a couple before that, they've copied from us as well. I'm still waiting for them to do a comedy episode, a comedy post.
Yeah. Interesting.
I heard Ben Clymer watches Time of the Week religiously. It's why he's silent on social media nowadays. He's just too busy. I don't blame him. Fantastic show.
Mark H. Right, come on.
Is this a bad time to admit where I work?
Does H stand for Dinky?
Mark Hidinki. Oh my god.
We don't dislike Hidinki.
Not at all.
I'll admit I listened to it this week. There are room for many podcasts.
All of them.
But one is better than the others, obviously.
Yeah, if anyone wants to sign us up. Sorry, Scottish Watches. I mean, part of Scottish Watches, obviously. Where do you work then, Mark? Come on. You can't say,
spill it.
Is it a bad time to admit? No. Perfect time. Come share.
Great time.
Share your information. So, shall we first talk about the Fears event?
Yeah.
It's fresh. It's very fresh in people's minds. So last night was the 175th anniversary party of Fears. Our wonderful, I'm going to say friend. We're friends. Totally friends. Nicholas. Basically almost bankrupted the company by hiring out the top 3 floors of the Shard.
Yes, I heard this.
Wow.
He did make a joke on his announcement to say my accountant is only allowing me this party. We're not doing it yearly. The next one's going to be 200.
He also said he got a slight discount though. So that would have brought it down from being like wildly expensive, just being extortionate. But yeah, it's like the one event that I've heard about in the last. Obviously, they've had nothing, but I would have loved to have gone to.
Yeah.
Yes, very jealous.
So annoyed. I say I could have gone, but our lovely UK Sam went, as we heard earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I texted her and I was like, please tell me you got wrist shots and like event shots and stuff that we can use for time of the week. She's like, I'm really sorry, I'm really hungover and I've just got drunken selfies and about 2 wrist shots.
It's like she enjoyed herself or something.
Yep. She had a time for her life. It looked like she had a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah. Oh. But what do you guys think about the new watch?
Love it.
I think they did really good with it.
Yeah, I think I shared it on my stories. It's so lovely. And I like the idea that they've used some like old components and things, and it's so poetic. It's just everything they do is great, and it's just they've done it right again, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I love the small seconds the one the best. Yeah, I think that one's my favorite.
It's just
the
so elegant.
Yeah, just so elegant, and yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Love the strap choice that they went with. Gives it a nice pop of tone, but yeah, it looks awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's lovely, and we're obviously used to the kind of more cushion shape, like on the Brunswick, but this also looks like it could become instantly recognisably them as well.
Yeah,
and they've obviously said that to accommodate some of the parts, they've made it slightly larger, which I think obviously gives it a greater appeal. Because when I see these kinds of watches come up at my work, generally they are what most men would consider too small. So this is lovely that, it's got wider appeal. But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like it. Oh, it comes on different straps as well.
Oh, I like the blue.
That's
yeah,
cool.
the blue is good too. Are the hands blue? Or am I making that up?
That's the original one, so it's probably got blue.
That's the original.
Yeah, it's got.
That's
not
the original.
Blue steel?
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the comparison shots, I guess.
Okay.
So it's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, but they have kept. Right.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Are you kidding?
Pendulum would be like, oh.
It probably is. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear him yet. So bigger and thicker, and younger. So.
Oh dear.
What more do you want?
They've kept the K shape the same. Yeah. They've done such a good job of keeping all of that charm, keeping as many elements, I guess, as possible, but making it fit in 2021, I think.
Yeah.
And bringing the Fears logo into it as well on the crown. That's a really good idea. Smart.
I think what's great
1846.
The customer kind of service and interaction and everything. It's true. Obviously, I don't own one. I would love to, but I asked for the catalogue, and it arrived the next day, and it was all handwritten, beautiful envelope, little card, compliment card. They really make an effort, and that is such a big part of it as well. And I see why there's such loyalty. And I think I remember Nicholas saying that he hasn't really been aware of anyone selling them on. If he has, it's been a handful at most, or a couple. And I get it. It's not just about the watches; it's about the whole experience with it. And it doesn't seem forced. It's like a natural, genuine care and attention to detail. So yeah, we just don't have anything bad to say.
Yeah. Again, listening to Nick on the Scottish Watches podcasts. Yes, Ricky, I do listen occasionally.
You caught us.
Just listening to Nick talk about watches and fears anyway is always so entertaining.
Yes.
And he has just a way of telling stories and speaking and explaining things. The level of detail that they went into with bringing the old elements back into these new pieces, randomly finding a guy who had these old movements around, just chilling in his, I guess his garage or something that he hadn't thrown away, was just incredible. I love that element of it. It's not. I guess you end up paying for. Some people can talk about the price, but you end up paying for so much more than that.
Yeah.
There's the history of everything, the effort that has gone into every single piece. Nick's really good at explaining why he's done something as well. So why he's not chosen to use this, why he's chosen to use this, what he's done to amend that movement to fit now. I just love that about him.
Yeah.
I think I said that to Ricky after, I think, was it maybe the second podcast they'd done with him? I was like, I could just listen to him for hours. He's so passionate, but there's nothing patronising, and it's not dry. It's because he's so in love with everything that he's doing. He's just great to listen to. And how much do you want the book? I was like, I'll put it on my Christmas list, and I was like, don't really want to wait that long. He's all it sounds lovely, and it's just yet another element that makes so much sense for the brand to have, because the history is so important, and now they have it recorded. So
he's definitely not a guy that's bored of his job, and that's good. So it shows. And it just shows that he's actually this is also his job, but it's also his passion, and it just comes out in the work that he does, and it showed in this watch. So I would love to see one in person. So maybe one day.
Me too. We should all take a trip. Just to try them.
Got down to London. Yeah, like Nick, we're all coming in.
Yeah, just set one aside for us.
We could do that.
One each.
Yeah, if there's any left.
Yeah, true.
That's the problem. So Time to Dream has been quite serious on this one. Jokes aside, with Fears, you're not just buying a watch, you're buying into a brand and service run by someone who clearly loves what he does.
Yeah.
And Mark Wheeler sort of repeated that. Nick's passion for Fears and the quality are remarkable and invigorating.
Yeah. I see he's also mentioned about buying it from the website, because they get that personal touch again, and they actually make some money from it, because I think he mentioned it from Amazon. The markup doesn't go to them. So.
Yeah, so if you do want one, make sure you go through the Fears website. Support small businesses. They're still sort of quite a small business.
Yeah.
But it is so refreshing to see someone be so passionate about what they do. Like, that's literally the dream, to love what you do. Or is it, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life or something? That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Quite far away, but How about you, Sarah? How do you love your job?
I do love what I do, but it is still work, though. But if I didn't love it, it would be awful, wouldn't it? I mean, we know when you're busy and you don't mind it, and we've all been there in other jobs. But no, I feel really grateful that I do something that I love, and it's been nice to shift to be totally watches as well, because sort of like a terrible way of putting it, but jewelry just does kind of lost its sheen for me a wee bit. Sorry, so I do still love what I do. So and who wouldn't?
No, exactly. It's such a deep rabbit hole of the watch world. As soon as you get like a glimpse of one, and you find that one, and you click that one watch, I think, and you click. That sort of gets you into the watches. Everything then is just, that's it. You're lost. You're lost to the watch industry. I think. So.
It's just a growing wish list, isn't it? Though.
Yeah.
especially with I find these vintage watches when they come in and I haven't seen them, then I'll look into them, research them, and then by the end of it, I kind of want one. So it's like it's good and bad.
Yeah, definitely. So what sort of sorry, are there any other watches that you guys want to talk about before we sort of delve into top sellers, I guess?
No.
No.
No?
Nothing.
No. No? Cool. I'm just going to text Time to Loom because the Wi-Fi is going.
Oh no.
Time to Loom, get off the Wi-Fi.
There you go.
Thanks.
I know you're looking more and more like hazy by the second.
I was wondering if it was me or what was happening.
It's the beer. It's nothing to do with the Wi-Fi. It's just the beer.
Just the beer.
Ooh. Okay, so with you sort of being part of the auction world, you've been on the show a few times now. You said at the beginning that you got a couple of shows coming up. Auctions coming up.
Feel like shows, yeah. So we've got one on the 14th of September, and that takes place in Edinburgh, and then one on the 22nd of October, and that's in London. So obviously both all live online and everything. So yeah, working at those at the moment. So the London one is select watches, as we call it. So anything that's a wee bit rarer, more valuable, more unusual. I've got something I'm really excited about, but I actually shouldn't say yet because I think there must be, I don't know, we have a PR department, so I'm sure they'll have a strategy thing. And then I'll probably hype it up too much and it won't sell. But no, quite excited. But there are really nice things. And the London jewellery department for the company as well they've got a really interesting collection of 1970s like yellow gold crazy jewellery, and I've got a couple of watches that have come in this week that will really fit in nicely, so we're hoping to do a really nice couple of pages in the printed catalogue for that, so I'm looking forward to that because we don't usually get to be so creative with things, so yeah, it's all very exciting.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I know.
I was say what are you looking forward to most, but
from that sale, or
yeah.
Wait,
are you not allowed to? You're not going to say?
Just in case. But there are a few. There's a really nice Speedmaster that is a nice early one, and I know I'm like can't afford it. But that was nice because the person that consigned it really didn't know anything about it, and when it arrived and I managed to get it open, and I was like, yes, it's exactly everything is correct. So that's a good one. So I'm always excited about those. But really anything, the vintage ones, I love all of that. So yeah, just keep an eye.
It's exciting. I know when the pandemic first happened, and so many people thought that the watch industry would just really get affected by it, and it would take so much time to get back to where it once was. We're kind of seeing the opposite, that it's doing really, really well. How is that going to you and what you do? Are you seeing kind of the same trends?
Yeah, definitely. So I moved to set up like a watches department where I am about a year ago. And yeah, it's just been an upwards kind of I can't think of the right words, but like it's gotten better and better as that year has gone through. Yeah. I think lockdown and everything was really hard for a lot of people, but a lot of other people had a lot of extra money. So if they were lucky enough to be furloughed or at home, their lifestyle changes, and it's, you hear a lot of people saying it. So the people that were fortunate and almost benefited from it did look to spend their money on something else. And I mean, it's not that it came out of the blue. Obviously, there's been an upwards kind of trajectory for watches, pre-owned and like vintage for the last 5 years. But yeah, over the last 12 to 18 months, it's just, some things have gone from being like kind of affordable to being slightly out of a lot of people's price ranges. So yeah. And I think the technology and everything already being there to allow everything to move online meant that transition was as smooth as it could have been. And obviously watches are so portable, and within reason there's usually multiples of each one, so people kind of know what they're they're getting. It's been very good. That's been I felt lucky with that. I don't think other small kind of items, maybe so much like jewelry, has perhaps benefited. I think, I mean, the company and Line and Turnbull has had, like, I think, the best year so far overall, and jewelry would have been a part of that. But there's something a little bit more subjective about that. But no, it's been fantastic. So that's been one of the good things.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear. And I couldn't imagine, like you were saying, the jewelry aspect having the same. Obviously, people still do look for that, but it's just not the same. Oh gosh, what's the word? Like want that people have. You know, like the need. So something about watch industry has boomed, and so that's very interesting to see, because most people think, oh yeah, jewelry will sell out quick, but it's like, actually right now,
no. I think it's just it's just fundamentally a different, to be really general about it, a different buyer. And I don't know if it's too generalizing, but I mean, a lot of watch buyers are men, who I imagine, and from my experience, will part with their money a little bit more easily for something that is for them, perhaps as a reward or as part of a collection, versus a woman who sees jewelry as, you get this on your birthday, or you get this on for your wedding, or Christmas,
more of a special occasion.
And it's sometimes wouldn't necessarily be bought by them for themselves. And I also think with watches, everybody's looking at this upwards trend as well, and so there's a little bit more of you kind of get carried on the wave, and there's a push, and people are imagining perhaps it might be an investment, although I wouldn't ever say that. So there's a lot of different reasons pushing people to do it. So and I don't see it slowing down, and if it does, it's going to slow down a little. I don't imagine it's going to drop. It might level off at some point, but as I said, because you've had so many years of going upwards, I can't see it kind of falling significantly. If it does, I'm just going to buy a whole load of stuff, because that's the right thing to do.
It'll only shoot back up again, you can guarantee.
And it's kind of like universal, like everywhere. It's not just where you guys are. It's here in America as well. It's in Asia, in Australia, like you name it. It's happening, and people are like loving it and just enjoying it.
I know people that aren't already obsessed by watches appear to be buying them. I thought, it's like, that's not our thing, but
it left a lot of time that people had of just having free time of looking into watches. I met a guy yesterday that says he got into watches because of the pandemic, because he would just go down these rabbit holes of looking at random things online of like, oh, I've heard about Tudor, or I've heard about whatever brand, and like, oh, let's look into it. And so I think people having so much time on their own.
That's a good point.
Gave them so much.
Pun intended.
I know. Oh, it's hard with watches. So many puns.
I think maybe because people are online so much more now. So many more watch companies have been able to access the general public, and hit a bigger demographic, I guess, is maybe my thinking on why it's booming so much. And now they've realised that, hold up, watch collecting is really good and really fun, and now I'm hooked. And there are also pieces that are considered investments. So there is that. But I totally like you made such a good point about women buying things for themselves, but only really as a gift for birthdays and Christmas, whereas men will go out and buy and spend money on rewards. So that's a really good point. I think maybe women are just, when they want a treat, they'll take themselves to the spa or something.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think in general, yeah, I think it's perhaps, and maybe it's just how I grew up, but like, I don't know if it's normal to, I mean, maybe people feel guilty about buying jewellery or something. There's that kind of guilt thing. And it's as if you couldn't collect jewellery, but you can collect watches. It's just the way that you think about it. It's,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's changing though. And
Yeah.
I think that the conversation about not applying kind of genders to watches and things, all of these things are helpful, because I think if you can afford it, clearly you should be buying things that you love because they bring you happiness. And watches are a great thing because you can also pretend it's practical, because sometimes they tell the time, but obviously mine don't, because none of them work. Martin's still working on the Roamer. Lucy, you'll know what I'm talking about. The spring arrived and it was the wrong one, and then he's just had all this back and forth, and yeah, so, but who cares if it comes back and it doesn't work? I don't care. I still one day.
Yeah.
So, what watches are your best sellers? So, is there a specific type of watch, or is there a specific brand of watches that tends to do either better than expected, or well, or people are more sought after at auctions?
I think probably the trends where I am follow the kind of wider trends, which is nice to know, and that I think is the online aspect. So we've noticed Cartier, and everyone is saying this the last couple of years, and in the last few months especially, the demand is just, it's like that collective consciousness thing. I mean, people want them, more people know about them. So we've got interest from dealers who would have always, been interested in them, but more private people looking for specific models and that kind of thing. So Cartier definitely, and then the really obvious ones, steel sports watches, obviously Rolex. They're always going to be popular, and yet it's just steadily kind of risen. So yeah, Cartier, we find ourselves talking about it, myself and my colleagues. The jewellery as well. Apparently, Cartier Love Bangle it's like a search term every 4 seconds or something like that. So that as a company overall, anything from them, if you price it correctly, is probably going to go over estimate. I think we're getting a bit more interested in yellow gold things. I don't know if that's just because I like yellow gold, but I think that's kind of getting a wee bit of maybe traction now. But yeah, I would say overall it's kind of as you would expect, sports watches and Cartier. And I love the kind of vintage chronographs and that kind of thing, and you could have picked them up for a couple of £100. Now you're looking £300, £400, £500. So those are steadily climbing. But again, the fun bit is you kind of actually never know. And you can think you're putting an educated, informed estimate on something, and it'll make like 5 times the amount, and everyone looks at you and you're like, 2 people just really wanted it. And that's it. So, but yeah, Cartier, oh my goodness. I think it's going to get to the point that we will just have adverts looking for those to come in. So yeah, keep your eyes open.
Insane. Wow.
I might need to take a walk closer to the router.
Oh,
sorry guys.
Time of the week on the go.
Amusement.
That is pretty,
sorry guys, carry on talking. Let's try and get closer.
I wouldn't have thought Cartier would have
it's
so
a funny
much
one, isn't
traction.
it? Because I think up until recently, and there maybe still is some obviously, but there was that kind of slightly technology kind of, I don't want to say snobbery, that sounds mean, I don't mean that, a kind of connoisseurship idea of, well, it wasn't necessarily in-house movements the whole time, or they aren't necessarily a manual one, or mechanical rather, some of them are quartz, but so much of that company is the design heritage, and each one of their watches is unmistakably from that brand at a glance. So there's so much, to their credit, such strong designs, and it's not just, it's gents and ladies ones as well. That's the thing. And if you speak to, I don't know if there would be a typical watch collector, but they might say, yes, Rolex, Patek and everything like that. But a lot of them would also say, no, I appreciate that from Cartier too. So I feel like there's less of that focus on what's inside it and being so hung up on it now. And I just get caught up in it as well.
Yeah.
So I was starting to look at the Cartier tanks. I was like, maybe I could afford one of those. And now I'm like, oh, no, I can't. That's not pocket money anymore.
Yeah.
And the ones that you can't, the ones that are slightly cheaper, like the Cartier ones that are the gold-plated ones. Again, I was talking to Martin of Martin's the Jewelers, and I said, there's one that I'm looking at and the gold plating's coming off. Do you know what you can do? And he was like, there is very little you can really do. It doesn't replate very well. You could polish it all off. And I was like, oh. So, yeah.
Defeats the purpose.
Exactly. So, yeah. Oh, I did get in the other day. I mean, I don't really know anything about clocks, but we've got this tiny little Cartier travel clock, and it's like this size, and I just feel like I might need it. But
it sounds like you do.
Why not?
I know. So at the moment, that's in at $300 to $500, and I was like, I could stretch Christmas present to that. But after I'm saying this, guaranteed by the time it hits December, it'll probably be like 500 and above. But anyway, so
yeah, it'll be like 1,000.
I love that Cartier have also got those kinds of things that even their pens and everything like that as well. So if you can't do the watches, there's something there.
Yeah.
Lucy, are you back?
I'm here.
Yay!
I don't think my face is fuzzy anymore.
No, it's
but
not fuzzy.
yeah, sorry you guys, you have had a short tour of my house.
But it's lovely, so that's okay.
Here's my artwork. More artwork. Artwork everywhere. Sorry, I caught most of that in the end, thankfully. But yeah, I do find there's a lot of Cartier hype. Yes. People love Cartier.
We've just hyped it for like 10 minutes.
Sorry. Yeah, like I'm noticing. I don't know whether it's you. It's just me. But I'm noticing a lot more men on Instagram with Cartier pieces. Whereas before it was quite, I found it to be quite female orientated, but I feel like a lot more men are getting into Cartier now.
Yep, and so they should be.
They make some.
It's becoming a bit fluid. Like the styles are becoming a bit more fluid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think more and more. I think people, either women and men, are just kind of going for that classic style of whatever they want, whether it's the Santos or that. So I know the store down the street, the Cartier store, they're like running low on watches.
That's crazy.
People, it's a demand. I mean, obviously, it comes into like a whole combination of things because Rolex doesn't have any watches at all.
Oh, they have a lot of bimetal everywhere I go. It's just bimetal, diamond studded Rolex.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. You could, in theory, walk in and buy an 18-karat gold daisy. I could be wrong, but I'm imagining you might be able to. But you cannot get a steel one. And I was explaining to a client about the difference. So what's popular? And I was like, well, not gold things. The gold one might be worth less. And she's just looked like, huh? So, yeah. That's interesting as well. I never thought of that, like a lack of availability leading people to another brand. That is kind of, in a way, a good thing. I mean, it's opened people's minds. Now they're just all shifted and create a Cartier wait list. Why not?
Yeah.
Just go round in circles.
I think it's because of there's so much hype, obviously, around Rolex.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of the times I've had people say to me, like, oh, I'm just starting out with watches. I want a Rolex first. Because that's what everyone thinks of. And that's what...
It's so cute and naive to think that you can just walk into a Rolex. I'm like, oh my God, I've got like I've managed to save up 7-8 grand. I'm going to go in and buy like my dream watch. Yeah, Rolex.
I know.
No,
and then they get rudely awakened of like, I know I'm not going to get a watch for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes people resort to other things. But I think it's such a good thing to see that there's so much more out there that you can get for a great price.
Yeah.
You know, something comparable to a Rolex, for sure. Something even better, honestly.
I do kind of hope, like I've been saying and I've been thinking, like Rolex hype has gone so high. Surely the ceiling is close. Like surely the the repercussions of what they've made of their marketing is gonna hit a high. It's gonna hit that ceiling soon, and I am sort of starting to feel it in the fact that like a lot of other brands, especially now since lockdown, they've managed to find those other people through marketing, that it might be a shock to them to have other brands that have wait lists and are just as well, maybe not quite as, but you know, on a similar level of desire for them and like waitlisting.
Yeah,
It might be a shock to them.
It depends, like as an individual, who you are buying for, whether you really love what you want, because it's hyped and you feel it, or or because you've seen it, or whether you're buying it for approval. I mean, I suppose the same applies to anything, but like the best bit of advice that I give people is try them all on, because I mean, I say like, oh, I've got a list of 5 watches that I really, really want, but I've never had them on my wrist, and if they look ridiculous, I won't like them. And like my favorite watches that I pick up, one of them's probably worth about like £30 or something like that. And I actually maybe wouldn't have liked it if I'd seen a photo of it. In fact, when I bought it, it just came along with another watch. So, but then that's part of society, isn't it? I suppose it depends why you're buying it. If you're buying it for you or for others to see, I don't know. A combination of that is probably about right for the fun of it. But yeah, I would say try on the Rolexes if you can, but try on everything else as well.
Yeah.
To big up Glasgow and Buchanan Street, you can try on Breitling, the Breitling boutique, the Omega boutiques there as well. Then you've got all the jewelers in the arcade, like James Porter and Son, and everybody like that. So like find your nearest place and try them all when is safe and responsible, obviously. But yeah, that's the best bit. Yeah, because like you say, it doesn't necessarily have to be that one brand.
Yeah, it does lead and push people into different boutiques. Like, oh, okay, I don't want bimetal, I'll hold off, but I'm here now, so we'll go and check.
Yeah,
I'll just have a look and I'll have a browse. Like, if I'm looking at my personal watch journey so far over the last year, 2 years even, what I liked a year ago, and now I've been exposed to more watches, what I like now are quite different. Yeah. I never would have gone for a digital watch. I never would have gone for anything probably above 36 mil.
Yeah.
Dive watches, like they were never my thing a year ago. But now I've been exposed to more watches and I've got to experience them and feel them on my wrist. My tastes have changed so much. So yeah, I think the more people can try watches on, which you can't do in Rolex, you go to other brands and try other brands on.
And also,
you could realise your tastes are completely different.
Yeah, auction is like, obviously I'm not biased in any way, but like an auction viewing, like doesn't matter the scale or the level. If you're happy to go on and they're allowing people to try the things on and you feel comfortable with that now, that's a great way of doing it, because you'll get a variety of sizes, styles, ages.
Yeah.
There'll be vintage things. There'll be things that are almost new. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of the benefits of auctions as well is a lot of the pieces that are raised there, you're not going to see everywhere.
No.
A lot of them, there are just a couple in the world left, which is like super exciting for me. Yeah, so get on the auction. Yeah. Okay, so what we came to the conclusion of there is the top brands are Cartier and a lot of different pieces.
At the moment, yes, Cartier leading the way.
I think so. Yeah. Cool. So you said you've got a couple of auctions coming up. So remind the viewers again where they can find everything.
Yep. So it's lionandturnable.com. And we've also got our own watches Instagram, which is at Lion Turnable Watches. But the auctions all go up to be viewable about 3 weeks before they take place. And I make sure they've got condition reports and photographs and everything with them. So, but if you need to ask anything, you can always ask me. Yeah.
Perfect.
So not long to wait.
What date is it in September?
14th of September and the 22nd of October.
Okay, so you can probably start viewing them soon, I would think.
So
next week.
The 14th of September one, let me think. That goes online. Yeah. I can't count the dates now that you put me on the spot. Soon. It will be online soon.
Be on the lookout.
The photography takes place. We've got a really great photographer, Alex. He's doing that this week, so they'll be available soon. Yes.
Do you get involved in the photography at all? Be like, oh, can we have that one at that angle actually? And this one actually does really well on Instagram, so we can just have it at that angle.
It's a shame because sometimes they'll do them and I'll be like, actually, see that one? Can it not be doing that? Or can you the main idea that we had was to get a lot of videos of them. So they're little turntable videos, because I noticed other auction houses won't necessarily do that as a standard. Yeah. And especially for kind of vintage pieces, it's a really nice way of understanding the condition. Because a condition report, no matter how perfect a watch is, a condition report will probably make it sound like it isn't that great, because you literally list everything that is wrong with it. So like the turntable video and the extra photos and all that kind of thing really kind of help with understanding exactly the condition that it's in. If you can't view it, obviously viewing it is best idea, but that's not been easy recently. So I was going to ask you guys about Red Bar, because I still haven't been to one, and since I really got into like the watch community, there's nothing, I haven't been able to go anywhere, and I'm just getting more and more jealous. And my husband's getting more and more fed up because he's not into watches yet. And so I talked to him about it, and he just sits and goes,
It's like the total opposite of most other people that I interact with on Instagram. They're like, oh, my wife's just not really into watches, and it's really frustrating. I'm like, with you guys, it's the opposite way around.
That's funny.
Well, he likes PC stuff. Like, he's built his own PC and things. And I'm just like, can't get my head around this. Whatever makes you happy, it's fine.
You.
Yeah. Yes, dear. Okay.
Yeah.
little pat on the head. Okay. You enjoy that. To shout at Dave. Like, Dave should be sorting the Glasgow Red Bar out.
I think he is. I just don't think it's been as easy up here. I always think we're a little bit behind England with relaxing restrictions.
Yeah. You guys do your own thing, don't you now?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about politics. It's fun.
All I know is when I can go out.
When can you start drinking wine or beer?
Yeah.
That's funny.
If you fancy making the trek to Cambridge,
I'd love to come to Cambridge anyway. I bring the whole family though, so like I don't know how that would
come
work.
down for the weekend, abandon them for an evening, you'll be fine. But we've just arranged our second one already now for the 18th of September.
That was quick.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Super excited. Really, really excited. Hopefully.
No wonder you're excited. That was, the first one looked like it was great.
First one went really, really well. Good turnout. It was so good to meet people. Like, I got the same as UK Sam we did last night. I forgot to take a lot of pictures because I was so busy just talking to people.
I know. Yep.
So this time I need to be like, okay, right. Think of the Instagram.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I was at a watch event last week, and I took maybe 2 pictures. That was it. And I didn't have anything to post after that. And it was like, oh, I feel bad. But yeah, you just get so caught up of like talking to these people.
Yeah.
And
it's such a novelty.
Yeah.
It's actually real people.
Yeah. That's
So
the
you're going to
thing.
take like 0 pictures because you're just going to be like, oh my God, I can talk to other people in public about watches.
Yes.
What is this?
Really
Without
great.
judgment.
Yeah, it's normal. And like when you do take pictures, you don't get weird looks from people. Like, why are you taking a picture of your watch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, all
Nobody's
right, let me
calling
get
you
in
out.
on this. Yeah.
I know.
Take a ring light, take a tripod. No one will look at you weird. I turned up with a UV torch, and so did about 6 other people.
Amazing.
But you're all geeks together. I laughed out loud the other day when Ricky said on the podcast he felt embarrassed when people asked him what he did. He felt like he was revealing, like he was doing podcasts on stamp collecting, and I just suddenly felt this affinity. Like, it's not that you're embarrassed, but it's you suddenly realise that this is just you're quite the geek.
Yeah.
And you feel okay when you're talking to other people who like it, but when you try to explain, I spend a lot of time with watches and talking about them. You're like, oh, actually, most people don't. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So, but it's nice to actually be in person with these people, and yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So whenever people ask me and they give me a funny look that, oh, you're into watches, that's kind of weird. Well, the people are into cars and that's okay.
Yes. Yeah. And cars and watches kind of go together, so.
Sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's engineering and it's a hobby. Like, I have a hobby that I really enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Travis has said he's scared to do wrist shots downtown because he's afraid someone's going to think that it's a nice piece. I don't have any expensive things, so I just
that must be nice if he's taking a picture of it and getting robbed.
No, they probably walk up to mine and be like, "Oh, I don't know what this is."
Actually, I'm good.
That is also the benefit of wearing something that is maybe like more of a micro brand or a lesser known brand.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it's not a Rolex. It's probably not actually worth that much.
Yeah.
You're not going to take that. No. Julian said it's almost as bad as train spotting.
Well, hold on a wee second. No, because we own the watches, or the other person owns the watch, and you talk to the other real person. It's not,
Oh no, that's a nice train on my own with a pair of binoculars. While it's passing, you don't even get to touch it.
You don't get, let alone wear it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
As Time asked a couple of questions. Oh no, he asked one question, made a few comments. He said bimetal's coming back into fashion.
I do love bimetal. Like, I think bimetal jewelry is really nice when you get like a 2-color piece.
Yeah.
It's not what I automatically think of it to put with us in a sports watch context. Do you know what I mean? Toned, pared down, kind of dial, glitzy strap. Don't know. But again, maybe we all just need to try them all on.
I think we should try all of the watches. That is our advice for you.
But that for us, that's really the only way forward, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's winner. And he also, as Time also asked, any highlights for the next auction?
For the next one, well,
if you don't want to give away your favourite ones, what sort of pieces are we going to be expecting?
So there, in the next one, so in the September one, there are a couple of Rolexes that come along with all the paraphernalia, which is nice, I think, because obviously when you buy it, it's nice to maybe feel like you've sort of got the full package. I know it's reassuring for a number of reasons, but there are a couple of those. There's a really nice, I've never said this word out loud, this just shows you we live in your own little world. Leonidas? I've only ever typed it lots, so I've never said it out loud for some reason, but like a, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I just love a vintage chronograph. So we've got one of those.
Leonidas?
You realise you live in a bubble when you have never said the things out loud.
That's a Greek war leader, apparently.
Well,
or a
also
chocolate company.
Brand. There's a couple of people that I'm working
It's
on.
also a World of Warcraft character.
Oh dear. Well, that's yep. There's such a variety. There, bizarrely enough, there's about 30 pocket watches, and that's a completely different thing altogether. And people say to me, "Do people still want these?" They do want them. I mean, obviously, a lot of them have a lot of gold in them, and that keeps the price up. But people are buying them. They're wise to the fact that you can buy a solid gold pocket watch for sort of £800 or £900, whereas if you tried to buy that from like a dealer, obviously it'd be far more. So we've got a whole load of pocket watches in as well, with some lovely kind of chains and things. But it's a real mix. I think that's what's nice about
Is this the brand?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just
I
love
don't think
that.
I've ever seen them before.
A chronograph. Oh, there's a chronograph Suisse, and this kind of pink dial one's reminding me of it. That's sort of pinkish tone. I've obviously got a chronograph Suisse, and it's just like my most favourite thing ever. So anything that kind of looks like that.
Oh, wow.
Things do.
Look at that.
Crikey. Okay, it doesn't look quite like that.
It's a bomb. It's a watch bomb. It's actually, I mean, it's literally what it's called. I don't know that in English, but
I love
definitely
the Italian word for chronograph. Chronografo. That's lovely.
Chronografo. Is that Italian?
Yeah, I think it must be. Either that or I've just done something terrible to someone else's lovely language. Like chronografo.
It's okay. I completely ruin accents and pronunciations all the time, so don't worry about it.
I also picked up from a chap, I hadn't heard of it, but it would just be a smaller brand from the kind of 40s and 50s. It just must be Richard. I mean, it's not Richard, but it says Richard on the dial. And it's like an annual calendar. So, I mean, it's got the date pointer and everything like that. I just love that. And it's got the 2 apertures for day and month and that kind of thing. So, yeah, and it's quite a kind of small size. So, yeah, there's quite a good few kind of vintage pieces that aren't crazy money. So, that's always good fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I do always love something that doesn't break the bank. Like you can be into watches and not have to spend crazy money. You can go to auctions and not have to spend crazy amounts of money.
Yeah,
that's another thing people forget. Yeah,
exactly.
Like we said, they always go for Rolex, but it's like there's so much more out there. You don't even know.
Still learning so much.
Mark Wheeler likes pocket watches. Well, September's a sale for you.
Yeah. Mark Wheeler, get in touch. Like, get on the Lion and Turnbull site.
Why is Julian saying chocolate?
Oh, because there's Leonardus chocolate.
Ah, okay.
Maybe that's what you're referring to. No, unfortunately, watches, not chocolate. Perfect. So we should probably wrap up there. Sarah, if anyone has a watch that they would like sold at auction, where can they get in touch with you?
So you can do it through the Lion and Turnbull website. My phone number and email address and everything is on there, or there's like a form, or you can contact us through Lion and Turnbull Watches Instagram. We've got offices in Edinburgh, Glasgow and London as well. So, but we cover the whole country. So if you've got something you want to sell, we'll work out how to do that for you. So yes, lots of ways.
Yeah, and even if you don't necessarily want to get involved right now, if they want maybe a quote or an estimate or something, they can always get in touch with you as well. Yeah,
I love doing that. And I always say, like, it's genuinely like the best bit of my job is getting an inquiry, and it doesn't matter what it is. I just like doing it, and we wouldn't charge for that. That's just us saying, well, if you wanted to do it, that would be X amount, and there's never any pressure or anything like that. And it's always great to see just anything. I just love it. Just seeing something different that I haven't seen before. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell I like watches, but
true watch nerd people. She can be trusted.
Yeah.
Cool. So that is a show. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. It's great to see
Love talking watches with you.
Yeah, always.
Nerding out on a Wednesday.
You're not the people in my family rolling their eyes at me, so I enjoy it too. So it's fine.
Really
Yes.
need to get you to a red bar or a watch meet of some form for sure.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna be
I can't go on
amazed.
my own, so I feel I would have to take my husband, who would like defiantly not wear a watch. So that's
Right.
a whole other subject.
Or worse, he'd wear an Apple Watch.
Those aren't watches. I maintain those are not watches. They just
Good
happen
girl.
to be on your wrist. They do a whole load of great things, but they're not watches.
It's a wrist heart monitor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right, well, as always, guys, make sure you like this video. Whoever hit dislike last week, I will find you. What is the taken quote? That's what will happen.
Yeah.
So please thumbs up. If you can't bear to see our faces, you can catch us on your podcaster of choice, SWL Lugs Edition. Listen to us while you're cooking and half distracted, or staring at your watch collection, as I do. But yeah, I guess we will see you all next week.
Yay.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.